Thank you so much for staying on to this channel. Welcome to yet another edition of International Forum. I am Wilson Marshall. Today is all about the legacies of former U.S. President Donald Trump. Yes, it's really good for us to take a look at his achievements and, of course, all those things that he didn't do well. If you take a look at it on the scale from 1 to 10, how are you going to rate Trump? But before we go into that, and before I introduce my guest, I'd like us to have a listen to what Donald Trump said in his farewell speech. I'll be right back.
To serve as your president has been an honor beyond description. Thank you for this extraordinary privilege, and that's what it is, a great privilege and a great honor. We must never forget that while Americans will always have our disagreements, we are a nation of incredible, decent, faithful, and peace-loving citizens who all want our country to thrive and flourish and be very, very successful and good. We are a truly magnificent nation. All Americans were horrified by the assault on our Capitol. Political violence is an attack on everything we cherish as Americans. It can never be tolerated. Now more than ever, we must unify around our shared values and rise above the partisan rancor and forge our common destiny. 4 years ago, I came to Washington as the only true outsider ever to win the presidency. I had not spent my career as a politician, but as a builder looking at open skylines and imagining infinite possibilities. I ran for president because I knew there were towering new summits for America just waiting to be scaled. I knew the potential for our nation was boundless as long as we put America first. So I left behind my former life and stepped into a very difficult arena, but an arena nevertheless with all sorts of potential if properly done. America had given me so much, and I wanted to give something back. Together with millions of hardworking patriots across this land, we built the greatest political movement in the history of our country. We also built the greatest economy in the history of the world. It was about America first because we all wanted to make America great again. We restored the principle that a nation exists to serve its citizens. Our agenda was not about right or left. It wasn't about Republican or Democrat, but about the good of a nation, and that means the whole nation. With the support and prayers of the American people, we achieved more than anyone thought possible. Nobody thought we could even come close. We passed the largest package of tax cuts and reforms in American history. We slashed more job-killing regulations than any administration had ever done before. We fixed our broken trade deals, withdrew from the horrible Trans-Pacific Partnership and the impossible Paris Climate Accord, renegotiated the one-sided South Korea deal, and we replaced NAFTA with the groundbreaking USMCA. That's Mexico and Canada, a deal that's worked out very, very well. Also, and very importantly, we imposed historic and monumental tariffs on China, made a great new deal with China. But before the ink was even dry, we and the whole world got hit with the China virus. Our trade relationship was rapidly changing. Billions and billions of dollars were pouring into the U.S., but the virus forced us to go in a different direction. The whole world suffered, but America outperformed other countries economically because of our incredible economy and the economy that we built. Without the foundations and footings, it wouldn't have worked out this way. We wouldn't have some of the best numbers we've ever had. We also unlocked our energy resources and became the world's #1 producer of oil and natural gas, by far. Powered by these policies, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. We reignited America's job creation and achieved record low unemployment for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, women, almost everyone. Income soared, wages boomed, the American dream was restored, and millions were lifted from poverty in just a few short years. It was a miracle. The stock market set one record after another, with 148 stock market highs during this short period of time, and boosted the retirements and pensions of hardworking citizens all across our nation. 401ks are at a level they've never been at before. We've never seen numbers like we've seen, and that's before the pandemic and after the pandemic. We rebuilt the American manufacturing base, opened up thousands of new factories, and brought back the beautiful phrase, "Made in the USA." To make life better for working families, we doubled the child tax credit and signed the largest ever expansion of funding for child care and development. We joined with the private sector to secure commitments to train more than 16 million American workers for the jobs of tomorrow. When our nation was hit with the terrible pandemic, we produced not one, but 2 vaccines with record-breaking speed, and more will quickly follow. They said it couldn't be done, but we did it. They called it a medical miracle, and that's what they're calling it right now, a medical miracle. Another administration would have taken 3, 4, 5, maybe even up to 10 years to develop a vaccine. We did it in 9 months. We grieve for every life lost, and we pledge in their memory to wipe out this horrible pandemic once and for all. When the virus took its brutal toll on the world's economy, we launched the fastest economic recovery our country has ever seen. We passed nearly $4 trillion in economic relief, saved or supported over 50 million jobs, and slashed the unemployment rate in half. These are numbers that our country has never seen before. We created choice and transparency in healthcare, stood up to Big Pharma in so many ways, but especially in our effort to get favored nations clauses added, which will give us the lowest prescription drug prices anywhere in the world. We passed VA choice, VA accountability, right to try, and landmark criminal justice reform. We confirmed 3 new justices of the United States Supreme Court. We appointed nearly 300 federal judges to interpret our Constitution as written. For years, the American people pleaded with Washington to finally secure the nation's borders. I am pleased to say we answered that plea and achieved the most secure border in U.S. history. We have given our brave border agents and heroic ICE officers the tools they need to do their jobs better than they have ever done before, and to enforce our laws and keep America safe.
That was the farewell speech of Donald Trump. Yes, ex-American president. We'll take a look at his legacies on today's edition of International Forum. With me here in the studio, I have Honorable Odige Wadai, political analyst, and of course a member of the Initiative of Nigeria. Welcome to International Forum.
Thank you very much.
Stay very close to him. He is a lecturer, a clergyman, a political analyst. Join me to welcome Honorable Frank Amega. Welcome to International Forum.
Thank you very much, Wizard.
All right. The world was agog when the U.S. election took place. The world also was agog when results started trickling in. The world became odd when they discovered that Joe Biden's prospect of becoming the president has expanded, so to speak, and everyone kept their fingers crossed. When the results was released, it was Joe Biden almost all the way. And of course, another shock came in, the attack on the Capitol. And all this cumulated to the swearing in of Joe Biden, and many persons, many countries tongue-lashed the person of Donald Trump. Names were mentioned, accusations were leveled against him. Some called him the worst of the worst. Some called him the disgraced president. Some called him all sorts of names. But when he wanted to leave the U.S., he gave this speech that many persons from his camp taking a look at it, listening to it. Some of the view that, yes, what he said he was going to do, he did it, while others are saying he is a demagogue. I want to start off from you, Honorable Wadai. What do you feel about his farewell speech and, of course, his legacies as the U.S. president?
Okay, thank you very much. Before we dwell on the legacy of Donald Trump, let me quickly take this opportunity to thank a noble achievement that was achieved recently in Nigeria. The Southwest governors, they have bound open Gregson.
Yeah, that is a topic for another day.
Yes.
All right.
And kudos to them. We are expecting other states to follow. Now, going back to Donald Trump. Yes, Donald Trump came on board to fight the quote-unquote the system. Americans were already tired of the system, like the Washington, politicians. And they were looking for an opportunity or a messiah, so to say, other than the conventional politicians. Granted, he is a businessman. He has never won or contested for any political office. Based on that, he was able to convince the people that he would do otherwise. And they voted for him, unknowing to them that they were bringing a devil reincarnate. Ab initio, from the very first day he came to power, he started showing his true colors. Here is a man, one of his legacies. The only president has been impeached twice. The only president that belongs to the Ku Klux Klan. The only president that is a narcissist. Most of the so-called legacies that he enumerated in his farewell speech, he did not actually achieve them. The economy he made mention of was as a result of the product of
We proudly
Obama. He came at the later part at the reign of Obama to take credit for the effort of Obama administration. Granted, he went into renegotiation with Asia, especially South Korea and China. He went into the trade renegotiation with Mexico and Canada, Brazil, and some other countries, with the notion that most of the jobs that went south, to Mexico, will return back to America, which they never did. So for him to start taking credit that he did XYZ for the benefit of the Americans, when in your actual sense, it was detrimental, to their economy. China, capitalized on it. During that 4 years, the economy that actually grew in this world was China. It was China. No necessarily America. So he has done a lot. He has taken America out of the global leadership. He has taken America out of the climate world zone. So at the end of the day, what has he actually done for America? Okay. He has taken decisions that divide America. Most of his utterances and actions shows that he was more of a divisive leader than a builder.
I'll come back to you, Honorable. Well, you heard him. He said he's a member of the KKK clan, and of course he talked about his divisive nature while he was there as a president. He talked about removing America from the leadership role globally. What do you feel about what he just said, talking about Donald Trump's legacies?
Yes, thank you so much. First is, they will commonly say that, or easy lies the head that wears a crown. And I'll be careful to pass judgment on Donald Trump. There were areas he made mistakes. There's no infallibility in humanity. We're not here to project one or two mistakes he made. Even the face of that, we can relate that with the good things he has done. And if we graduate that, let's say in percentage, he has done better things up to 80% than the 20 we are projecting. And let's not forget here that if any of us will become president at any point in time, they will also review our lives. Donald Trump was like this biblical Naaman. He has so many good qualities, and very shortly there became a negation, B-U-T, but he was a leper. That he was a leper did not remove the general he was in the army. That he was a leper did not remove the exploits he did on behalf of Syria, his country. So Donald Trump is commonly viewed along personal issues. I have my own personality. I can't be at home and wear tie and dress like this. Something will be wrong with me. So you're looking at Donald Trump off duty. That he doesn't want to play along the way you want him to do. That is personal. But when it comes to the administration of good leadership, he did. Honorable mentioned that he didn't do well along the line comparing with China. China and America are two different countries. They belong to two different continents. But I want to assess Donald Trump based on his predecessors. The CTC first, that's child tax credit. He raised it from $1,000 to $2,000 and made it more accessible. The economy grew, obviously grew. I may not know the right organization that does that now. Like we have a National Bureau of Statistics in Nigeria, for instance. I've checked the ratings. Our unemployment rate has crashed.
In America?
Yes. Compared to his predecessor, Obama, it crashed. How the economy has blossomed, it stayed there. You know, commonly over these 4 years, and I was able to draw a line between some international TV stations like CNN and the rest. CNN is anti-Trump. So if you want to know bad things about Trump, just watch CNN. So whatever thing Trump did, he did for the benefit of the people. Maybe along the line, just maybe, he was able to bring to the table his own ideas. He was able to crystallize them. It meant well for the country. And along that same line, he was selfless. People wanted him to play along like every other international president. No, he didn't. What he had in mind was America and America. If we have such a president like Trump in Nigeria, Nigeria will be better. That will have Nigerian focus. It was American focused. It was able to repatriate at least 1.5 trillion US dollars from overseas. A lot of jobs were created. Even in the face of this lockdown last year especially, it was able to set up Operation WAP, program like that, such that he was going to contact Pfizer and Moderna to produce vaccines. And the history of America, worldwide, a vaccine appeared in 9 months. It was in time. The job losses they experienced during the lockdown, they regained them by having not less than 12 million new jobs, far more than the losses they made. So he has done well, except we want to make it personal. You know, over this period, American elections between between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, you know, the way the Nigerians showed interest as if it was a Nigerian election. So right there with them, he still had followers, something that has followers. Just that the good intentions he had, we couldn't crystallize them.
He couldn't crystallize them.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, now he talked about job creation. He talked about repatriation of some funds to America.
Yeah.
Don't forget also about what he did in NATO, saying America will not shoulder the burden of NATO alone.
Yes.
If you must form NATO, every country must contribute, and that puts a lot of money back to America. And that is on the front of
financial commitment.
relations.
Yes.
Take it up from there.
Yeah, we know the financial commitment. He said Donald Trump encouraged Pfizer
And Moderna.
to produce vaccine.
Because he said in 9 months. Yeah.
This is a man who did not believe in China virus. Even till date, he still believes that that virus does not exist. He never believed in science. He never participated in addressing the coronavirus in the United States of America. He never wore masks. He never encouraged his people to wear masks. He encouraged or spread coronavirus in the United States of America to kill his own people. And you are saying that he's taking credit for the vaccine that was invented by Pfizer? Absolutely not. There's something wrong somewhere. So, secondly, Donald Trump, he said, came for the interest of the Americans. Probably you are trying to say the white Americans. Donald Trump never loved colored people. He never loved black people. If you remember 2017, the Charlottesville riot, you know what he said and the side that he took. When they killed George Floyd, you know his position. He encouraged the police to kill blacks if necessary. So, how come you are not saying this for Americans? When Obama came on board, he encouraged the transgenders to enter the military, the LGBT. He came on board and revised that policy. Obamacare was for the Medicare to reach out to both the poor and the rich. He revised it. So how did he care for Americans? How did he care for the poor? Granted, Mexico and United States of America, no, it is a normal trend when two countries lie side by side. If one is economically buoyant than the other one, the tendency for you to see migration movement from the lesser economy to the bigger, what did he do? He started building a wall. And he had the audacity to tell Mexico to pay for that war. What happened? He never did. He never achieved it. So now you are saying Donald Trump achieved 80% of what, of his campaign promise. If he actually did, you and I, we know fully well that in America, a president that achieved definitely will win election. Unlike Nigeria, whether you campaign or you don't work or what, you will win as long as you are incumbent.
All right.
I'm coming, my brother. If actually what he said, he did them, and he achieved 80%, he would have won his second term. But he lost woefully. Before election, people knew. He was aware that he was going to lose that election. Before the day of the general election, the mail voting, he knew of the outcome. They anticipated the outcome, knowing fully well that most of the Democrats voted before the general election.
All right. I will come back to you. He talked about the Democrats knowing the outcome before the general election. He talked about Donald Trump also trying to claim credit for the vaccine manufactured by Pfizer. He talked about Donald Trump being a racist that doesn't like blacks, and it showed during the death of George Floyd. So from that perspective, do you think that is a good legacy?
That's why I drew the line when I was giving my remarks. There are two personalities. Donald Trump as an individual,
Okay.
and President Donald Trump.
Okay.
They are two different personalities. So we are concentrating on his personal life right now. That he has been a racist. Was it when he became president that he became a racist? He's been a racist all his life. So the American people knew that he was a racist, and they still voted him into power. The accolades, so to speak, that is claiming, was only claimed to now. If a particular administration is to build a stadium, foundation laid, and 1 week after that, the government leaves power, the next government continues and completes and commissions it. So who takes the glory? So there's nothing to drag over that. If Obama started, thank God you have been in. Well, there's no worry about this. A man saw,
interpret, yeah.
and we do that.
Yeah.
A man saw a snake, and a woman came and killed it. Husband and wife. So what are we dragging now? The snake will not get entrance to the premises.
Yeah.
So nobody's going to claim anything. It was in the time of Donald Trump that those projects were completed. He would have had the intention, okay, what about Donald, what's it called, you know, the former president, whatever he did, whatever Obama did, would have cancelled it completely. As you mentioned, some of those things he did. Obama did. He didn't see the good sides of all those things, so he had to push them aside. But the few ones he saw that were good, were of good public representation, he promoted. I am not here to say that Obama, Donald Trump didn't make mistakes. That's not why I'm here. I am here to say he did more good than bad as a human being. There is no leader at any point, whether underdeveloped, developing or developing country, as far as you wear this skin, black or white, you must have some mistakes to make. So, but I will not be happy to ignore all the good things he has done. I'm a medical scientist. Now, some of us, when the thing started, didn't believe in it. In the medical sciences. We said they were all politics that we were bringing up. Now, after a while, everybody, that is real, it's real. Everybody keyed into it. Now, initially...
You mean in Nigeria here?
In Nigeria, yes.
Oh, okay.
In Nigeria.
We always key into whatever the white man says. We don't have minds of our own anyway.
All right, now, as I was saying, come back to the discussion,
Yeah.
please. Yes.
So, as Donald Trump did see the COVID-19 as an American challenge that was from China, that was the best he could do at that time. It was Donald Trump that set up the Operation WAP sweep. That's the word.
Yeah.
Operation WAP
WAP
sweep.
sweep.
WAP is an insect. In Benin, it's called agbolokoko. Once he moves, he hits you, he's gone. So that sweep, that's what encouraged Pfizer and Moderna to come on board. That shows to you, initially said no, And the he said yes.
Okay.
So which of them are we going to take?
So, Barrister Amigo.
I'm not a barrister.
Okay. Assuming you give your wife money to cook.
Okay, I'm taking over from.
Assuming you give your wife money to cook, and she cooks delicious food, will you not eat it?
Please hold on. It will get to your turn because we are shooting in turns right now. Okay. Now he talked about Operation Warp Sweep in the fight against COVID-19. I said at first he rejected it, but later on he accepted it and started working towards it. Now, apart from that, let's go to the aspect also of revamping American economy. Now, the major reason why people got fed up of the democratic rulership led by Obama is because of the economy. It dwindled. Don't forget, before Donald Trump stepped in. Is that not a plus to Donald Trump?
No, not because of Obama. Remember when Obama came on board?
Don't forget also that Obama started dwindling.
Yeah, before Obama came on board, the economy was already nosediving. Obama came on a rescue mission.
Yeah. But it didn't succeed when compared to Donald Trump.
He did. Obama came on a rescue mission.
According to statistics right now, when Trump stepped in, there was an improvement. More money into the banks of American citizens.
It is a gradual process.
I know. According to records, there was an increment in job.
Yes.
According to record, more companies went back to America because of what Donald Trump put on the ground. Give them stand one. If you go to China to produce, your license will be revoked. These are there for everyone to see. So what do you feel about his achievement in that aspect of revamping the American economy?
Well, what I need to say here is that the success of Donald Trump was as a result of the effort of Obama. Yes, at the tail end of Obama, things started taking a positive dimension. Donald Trump came aboard. The economy was already growing. At that time, the world economy was growing at about 2.9%. I think it was only China that was growing at about 4-point-something%.
But for my records, America wasn't really doing that good.
No, I said about 2-point-something%.
All right.
So, yes, Trump came and wanted to make America great again. And he started renegotiating trade, agreements with other countries. To the benefit of United States of America, to increase made in America. Yes, some of the companies came back. But in Ohio and Michigan, where he emphasized that the auto industry needed to return from Mexico to Ohio and Michigan, they never did. Other companies, returned. But what I'm trying to say in essence is that, it is, you see, I'm not saying that.
Should be mentioned.
I'm not saying that he did not do well in some certain areas. But for you to have said that he performed 80% and the 20% where he failed is where the problem is. No, I think what you could have said was that he failed 80% and performed 20%.
Okay.
I'm coming.
All right.
What I wanted to say about the Pfizer, or rather the vaccine.
Yes.
If he's the one that, as he's taking credit, why did he take the shot? That's why I asked him, if you give your wife money to cook a delicious meal for you, and your wife came without food, put it on the table, will you not eat it?
Okay, good question.
We'll leave that question for our opponent to answer.
All right, now, apart from hammering on COVID-19, which he talked about in his power speech, saying the ink hasn't even dried up on papers before the Chinese virus came up. He said that for Americans to really gain. Apart from the accusation also of him being a racist, because these are the two major accusations leveled against him that really rock the boat of his campaign. Let's take a look at his international relation as regard to America. Let's go to Syria.
Okay. On international relations.
And let's go to also Israel. What about the peace foundation he laid in the Middle East? For the very first time in over 3 or 4 decades, Israeli official was welcomed in member state of the United Arab Emirates, even the Arab League. Is that not an achievement?
Great one indeed. So, a lot of countries or their presidents, they don't like Donald Trump because he was the outspoken one as a president. And he's been. Well, it's on record that Donald Trump has been the richest president of America up to now, from time immemorial. So you don't expect to behave like a poor man when he has become a president. So whatever thing he needed to say, he will say what he means and he will mean what he says. So a lot of presidents did not like that. Not to mention, one African president was told that you are clueless. He told him face to face. And that's true. Because nobody contested that up to now. So Donald Trump, a lot of countries didn't like his pattern. So it wasn't as popular as expected. It wasn't the type of person that will bend issues. He will just give it to you like that, whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter where it's going to hit at you. He will just give it back to you. So the other aspect of some Muslim countries, majority, there are some countries that are heavily dominated by Muslims. He said, no, you can't come back to America. He is a Christian. He said, no. If your country is good, then you stay back in your country. He says, I don't need you. So why should you be angry about that? Israel, between Israel and US, there will be a high level of cordiality. There are a lot of countries that like the administration of Donald Trump. Just that some other ones, maybe that were greedy at one time or the other, especially in Africa and some other European countries, they didn't like the pattern of Donald Trump. And it wasn't your business to like his pattern. Those in America that brought him in shouldn't like his pattern. Of course, some of them up to now are fans of Donald Trump, whether he's still in office or not. So, but the public relations or international relations, we observe that a lot of countries didn't like him. And he did, according to American way of saying, he didn't give a damn. Whether you liked what I was doing or not, that wasn't his business. All he had in mind was to project America by all means. And that he did. And I'm sure he's not sorry for all that he did. He met them, all the things he said he did came from his heart. And he did them.
Was it to the benefit?
All right. I'm not asking a question here. Not to worry. You have the floor very soon. Now, at the beginning of that clip that we listened to, no, we haven't listened to that clip. He said, all we said to do, all we've said to do, we did it. Yes. Let's go to the international scene right now. When he was able to move the capital of Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, other administration have been talking about it. He was able to achieve it. His administration did it. When others were talking about brokering peace in the Middle East, let it be a relationship between Israel and some other Middle Eastern countries. They were talking about it. They couldn't do it, but Donald Trump did it. What do you feel about that angle?
Well, the issue of Israel and the Palestinians started in 1948, immediately after the Second World War, when the United States imposed the Jews on a particular land that belongs to the Palestinians. The problem has been there. It's a historical problem. When he came, in order for him, what he did to the Israelis, it was an achievement. But the people that they superimposed the capital on, will they be happy? Jerusalem is not part of Israel. It has been controlled by, the Palestinians. Yes, because of the economic benefit, Saudi Arabia, United Emirates, Jordan, and some other countries, they have all been fighting Israel since 1967. And it is an endless battle. Probably, or they now say, well, instead of fighting and fighting, let us make peace. The question is, who controls, Jerusalem? Who controls Jerusalem? Israel is laying claim, while the Palestinians are also laying claim. Why didn't you divide, Jerusalem into two, east and west? That is the position of some school of thought. And other leaders, they have been towing that line. Let us see how we can share Jerusalem. Because it is a historical land to, the Palestinians, while the Israelis are also lay biblical claim to, Jerusalem. So for you to now just push, the Palestinians aside and give, Jerusalem to Israel, you are further compounding the problem. The Palestinians will not allow it. He has not actually solved, the problem. The problem is still there.
What about the peace broke out between Israel and the Middle East?
Well,
is that not a legacy? Is that not an achievement?
Yes, some of the Middle East countries, they were coerced to accept.
Coerced in what term?
In government, you look at the economic benefit and the political benefit. When they negotiated, they could have told some of the countries, say, look, we will give you X amount of military wealth if you take side with us.
That's the power of negotiation.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, they look at the pros and the cons. It's more of like a quid pro quo. You accept and you give.
All right.
To the detriment of the other side.
So what do you feel about that? Because you said right now it's like, one-sided, that others were coerced into the peace deal. But right now there's a peace deal with pen and paper. Confirming that peace deal, that agreement between Israel and some other countries from the Arab League, which hasn't happened until the advent of Donald Trump.
The challenge of Jerusalem is right back at the Bible days. It's not maybe in the 40s, in the 50s, years back. Everything is well spelled out in the Holy Bible. So it's not a case of Donald Trump to do or not to do. It's divine. There is not a president in this world that is a teenager. There is no president in this world right now that is less than 20 years old. So such a president should be an adult. That the question of being coerced shouldn't come in at all. If those countries that agreed with America really did, they did that maybe out of greed, of knowing what they're going to benefit from America, or for the settlement to have peace. Every documentation was well understood. They had meetings. They will go back to their various countries and have meetings. Jerusalem should biblically be with Israel. It's biblical. So some Bible scholars will tell us that we are moving towards the end of the world. But all those things are still scriptural, that people will go to return. So what we are experiencing is a return, which is scriptural. So Donald Trump has done what other presidents refused or couldn't do. They did that based on their own perception of the things of this world. But Donald Trump, I like that man so much that he has guts. He can face anybody, he can face any situation. While COVID-19 was on like for last year, it was able to stabilize a crude oil price. He told Russia and the other countries to please cut down up to 10 million barrels per day. Cut down on production so that we'll stabilize the economy for everybody. And all of them agreed. So there's nothing to coerce them or to force them to believe in him. We'll just bring it into the table. If it's attractive, you key into it. So I saw all that he has done as godly in the sense of trying to bring about a stable economy. But on his personal aspects, his lifestyle, no one person is infallible. I will insist on that because the Pope of America knew all this while he was to come in on 20th January 2017. They knew all this. There's nothing Trump is doing now that is new. There's no one thing. Racism or anything, there's nothing that he's doing now that is new. Arrogance has been there. They knew all this and they elected him. Of course, initially they did not. It was the college that brought him into power. So, it was like a president that must be. God backed him up to be a president. And most of these things he did. And to the glory of America, America is better off now.
All right, now 2 days into office of Joe Biden, there was one important deal with Canada that brought in so many jobs into America, and Joe Biden reverted the deal. It's an oil deal. What do you think about that?
Well, I think
because that's also among the legacies
of
Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with the fracking and the cost implication of fracking and the environmental factor involved. And Joe Biden saw it, and it will be detrimental to the environment of the United States of America should they continue with this fracking. So because of that, he was advised to stop the
fracking process.
Yeah. And definitely it's going to affect some companies, especially in Texas. And so, you see, whatever you do in this world, any policy, you must have those that will benefit from it and those that will not benefit from it. So, and those in the oil business, I mean, I think in the fabrication business, they are all against it and they are protesting. But he's looking at the holistic benefit.
All right.
And he was advised, I mean, to stop it for now.
It's all about the legacies of Donald Trump.
And don't also forget, one of his legacies, he called me a shithole.
Well, he denied that.
He denied that.
No, he didn't.
He denied that.
No, he didn't. You understand? That Africa is a shithole country.
And please, sometimes there are some words we don't use on air, okay? The
No,
S word
no, it's not F word.
I said the S word is among the categories of what we don't use on air, but he denied that.
It's all about the legacies of Donald Trump, those things he was able to do and those things also that he did that were detrimental and of course not so good if you put them in overall perspective. Gentlemen, 1 minute each to sum up your points in the person of Donald J. Trump. You go first.
Donald Trump came, he ruined America. He divided America. He segregated America from the world. And he almost truncated, democracy by encouraging, insurrection on January 6th on Capitol Hill. Thank God he's no longer there. They have brought in Joe Biden, who is doing the right thing, and we hope he'll continue to do the right thing.
Thank you so much, Honorable Frank.
Yes.
1 minute.
For the 4 years that Donald Trump ruled, he was able to achieve, if not all, most of the things he wanted to achieve. So he has done well.
He has done
well. Yeah. You've heard from both of them. You'll be the judge of that. Donald Trump said all he set out to do, he did it. That was one of the underlying statements in his farewell speech. You'll be the judge of that as we watch the administration of Joe Biden. Many of the opinion that many presidents are going to miss Donald Trump from what they are seeing right now in the beginning of the administration of Joe Biden. Others are saying no, it's the beginning of a new thing. Only time will tell. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on today's show. Bye for now.